What's going on, everybody? Different kind of video today because I do like a bit of constructive criticism. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Black Bond. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, YouTube. Check out all my links. Follow me everywhere you want to follow me. Prior videos include Nintendo Switch OLED, Xbox Game Pass debate, Metroid Dread will be another sales flop. Be sure to check out the Weapon Wheel podcast Sundays at 5:45 p.m. Eastern. I repeat, p.m. Eastern, Yokio. And be sure to check out the homies, Broken Games HD, Jack Move Johnny, and of course, Kid Smooth. And if you like what we do on Sundays, be sure to check out our Patreon, 353 strong. We greatly appreciate it. If we get that number to 500, remember, it will be a Six Flags meetup there with me, Kid Smooth, Neo Game Spark, and anybody else who would like to come. So, today's topic, from good old Tony, New Yokio, the fall of the Weapon Wheel podcast. Let's read this. In this video, I go over the ways I feel which Weapon Wheel podcast has fallen off over recent years. I discuss the addition of Mocha and Jimmy, Black Bond's input, and leaving the main panel member hard 8 times. I talk about the point where Jack Move Johnny got lazy, and how I feel like him and BG are the only two holding the show together at this point. Which is kind of contradictory. If Jack Move is lazy, how is he holding it together? So Tony time-stamped it with the intro, hard 8 times leaving, guest, Jimmy B Gaming, Mocha, laziness, and competition. What we're going to do today is we're going to take a listen and respond.
Hey man, it be your own niggas.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Alright, so for this video, I did actually talk to a couple people. I didn't want to just have it like my own points, because I thought, what if I miss something? What if I, don't bring up something? And so I talked to a couple people and actually did get some good points. So I'm talking people from the Discord that have been around for a minute, some people who consider themselves.
People from the Discord, sorry, but I really can't take them as credible sources. We know what kind of social rejects dwell in the Discords, people.
Weapon Wheel experts, niggas that this really happened to. Niggas will be like, yo, episode 57 at 1 minute and 27 seconds. It's like, how did you remember this? So those are the type of sources I got. My source is actually credible, unlike One Ton, even though One Ton is a source. But we gonna get into the video anyway.
Now, if I take that 6-hour road trip, niggas been hitting me up about that road trip, nigga. If I take that road trip.
Hard 8 times leaving Bond and guest unchecked. Why do I need to be checked for anything? That's the question. I'm the one that does the checking, and nobody can check me because I already have receipts for everything I do, and I am the best at everything I do, Tony. You know this. If you got a problem with what I do, that's cool, but you can't be checking the truth.
What you gonna say, nigga? The road on.
This video might be a bit out of order, but I'm gonna just go how I don't know, you might need to ignore a couple videos on the channel, but still, I ain't gonna discredit what Hard 8 brought to Weapon Wheel, especially since I feel like it needs to be brought back. Like, it's one of the main reasons Weapon Wheel ain't what it used to be and why it ain't the same, right? When Hard 8 left, not only did he leave, but he left everyone else unchecked. So Bond's on there just telling these weak-ass stories.
How are they weak, Tony? Because you ain't got no bitches? Because you ain't got no paper? Because you ain't traveling to the islands? Because you ain't going to Miami? Because you ain't going to Vegas? Explain to me how stories are weak. They'd be weak if you were living a life more lavish than myself. Then you could call them weak. When somebody living better than you, it can't be called weak. I'm sorry. Now, if you were driving a Tesla, flying a plane, going across the country, traveling across the world, then yeah, what I would be doing would be considered weak. But what you doing really, Tony? Come on now. Let's be real.
Weak-ass jokes, running them back. Like, nigga, like, when Hard 8 was there, it wasn't going to be sliding. Like, when Jimmy was telling these stories, like, it wasn't going to slide, right?
Jimmy was always getting checked. Stop. Jimmy be spreading, Jimmy Ubisoft stand. Come on, Tony.
And especially the guests, like, if you want to go on Weapon, you can go on there and say anything. Niggas not going to say nothing. You can be like, you know, my grandma working on xCloud, niggas just gonna let it slide. Like, you can do whatever you want, say whatever you want. Niggas not gonna fact check you, niggas.
I disagree, because BG was just fact-checking Wongtong or whoever these fake insiders are. He was checking Blandrew last week. He's been checking Blandrew every week. I check Smooth I get paid to check Smooth. I've made a living checking Smooth. Mocha was checking people. So, Tony, I don't know what you're talking about, dog.
He's not gonna pull, like none of this, right? So, when Heartache left, he took some of the viewership, and he also left niggas unchecked. So.
I agree he took some of the viewership because, you know, Heart 8's a popular YouTuber. Heart 8 was an integral part of Weapon Wheel. And if he didn't take an audience, that would be kind of surprising.
It's like a main part of the Weapon Wheel fall off, I think, right? So, speaking of the guests, though.
I was on this podcast a couple of weeks ago called the Weapon Wheel Podcast. And about 40 minutes into it, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I cannot be on this podcast anymore. We're not talking about anything real.
So,
now, I can agree and disagree to this point. I don't believe I was on this episode because I don't remember talking to Jaffe. But Jaffe, one, is a loon. But two, I feel like when BG has people on his podcast sometimes, like there's no... Like, for example, when Schreier came on, nobody but me was asking him the hard questions or asking him anything interesting and thought-provoking. Everybody else was just lackadaisical and just like they were sitting at a lunchroom table. Like, I agree to this point. BG do be adding random guests that I feel bring nothing to the podcast. They don't have any following to help us expand. They're not well-versed in how YouTube goes. They don't have their channels or their own podcasts, so they know how to be handled or handle being on a podcast. So yeah, I'm going to agree with this. BG lets anyone on sometimes. He lets the weirdest people on. He doesn't know how to interact with them. And I've said it before. To me, BG is not a properly socialized and socially calibered human being. That is just my opinion. So on here, I'm going to agree with you more than I disagree.
So another point of Weapon Wheel falling off is this nigga BG just started inviting anybody. Like,
Yo, I can't disagree.
if you a fraud, if you a racist, if you don't beat no games, if you got your microphone a fucking, I don't know, tin can and string plugged into, like...
He's spitting facts right now. There definitely needs to be quality control on who we let on.
I don't even... Niggas, just anybody was allowed on Weapon Wheel. Like, anybody's still allowed. You ain't gotta have no audience, no credibility.
He's spitting facts again, people.
You ain't gotta beat games. You ain't gotta be entertaining. He just be like, pull up. It's like, god damn, nigga. You ain't gonna have some kind of quality control over who.
Sometimes I think it would be better if it was no guest. It was just the crew, and that way we'd be more coherent and more consistent.
Comes on the show, like, and the guest niggas like, he don't be inviting them back. Like,
Tony spitting facts.
like, this shit just a mess when it comes to guests. Like, niggas got Crap Gamer on there, Mooch, like, anybody making an appearance. And it.
But to be fair, those people do have followings, Tony, and you said they need to have followings and have podcast history and experience, so you can't have it both ways.
It's not like they being added to, like, be questioned or cooked or fact checked. Like, nah, niggas inviting Crap Gamer on and treating him with the utmost respect. Like, and then y'all talking games with him, but y'all know he don't beat or play no games. Like, what? Y'all just having these, like, gaming conversations with Mooch and Crap Gamer and niggas that it's been proven and exposed they don't beat games, they don't play no games. Like, huh? Like, what? And that's, like, part of what made Weapon Wheel. Like, y'all was cooking these niggas. Y'all was, like, talking about, like, now y'all just having civil discussion with these niggas on the show. Like,
Tony, we're getting older, man. I was a different human being 10 years ago. I mean, I hate to say it, for better or for worse. For better in real life, but maybe for worse on YouTube. But, yeah, people's lives have changed throughout the years.
nah, man, this ain't it. This ain't it, Chief.
Actually, yes, I met Biggie, and
Well, Jimmy was a full-time member from the start. It wasn't like he was added halfway through.
a lot of people told me that I actually.
Now, Jimmy was added a couple episodes into Weapon Wheel. Like, he
Okay, that makes sense.
wasn't there from the start. And when he was added, he used to say anything. He was, I don't remember what it was, but it was something like Uncharted 3 looking worse than like PS2 games and shit. He was saying that type of shit. And when Hardy was there, Hardy would check him. But what ended up happening was niggas be like, yo, Jimmy, you want some other shit. Like, what are you talking about? And then, so he wouldn't speak, right? And then niggas said he wouldn't speak, and then he got all like stroppy and he caught an attitude like, oh, you think I speak? Watch this, and then didn't speak, which doesn't make sense, but that's how he chose to move. And like, I don't know, he just started getting roasted because he was either saying some dumb shit, he wasn't articulating himself well, or he was just saying some straight up misinformation, right? So he just showed up for the check, and then niggas started saying, yo, you only showing up for the check. And then this led to like the Weapon Wheel Patreon, like niggas ain't subscribing to that, which meant Jack didn't give a fuck about this shit no more. Like,
No, people are still subscribing to the Patreon. It's been higher. It's been at its highest since Heartache's been there. So I don't know where this point is going. The prior point, that's debatable, but this current point, I don't agree with.
you can tell at a point, like when the Weapon Wheel Patreon wasn't getting revamped and niggas wasn't subscribed to it, this nigga Jack was not talking either. This nigga was not saying anything. Like, he kind of back now. Like, he adds to the show, makes it entertaining again. Like, that show right now is just BG and Jack. Straight up. Like, Kid Smooth not even there no more. Like, it's all bad. It's all bad, I ain't gonna lie. But Jimmy showing up just for a check, spreading misinformation and all that, like, it was cool when Hardy was at to roast him, but then niggas ain't fact checking. And after that, it just went all downhill, so...
Well, regardless of how you feel about Jimmy in that situation, he's not here anymore, so I guess you can take that off the table.
On to the next point.
Oh, shut the fuck up. First of all, you shut the fuck up. How about that?
Another point where Weapon Wheel kind of fell off is when they added Mocha. Now, the thing with Mocha is, obviously, I got a little video on the channel, but that was only because she came at me sideways. I went and made the video, but then Mocha actually ended up hitting me up to apologize. And I'm the only person I've known her to apologize to, so I fell back on the Mocha slander.
How you get an apology and Red Infamy didn't? I need to know, Tony. I need to know. DM me.
I didn't mention Mocha at all. I won't be saying nothing about Mocha, but hey man, for the point of the video, we gotta cover this. So Mocha definitely brought Weapon Wheel down in a way that BG thinks she fits in, she doesn't. And he thinks like, oh, she be roasting, she be cooking, that's what we do, like, why don't y'all fuck with it? Like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, whatever. But it's not the same. Mocha...
I can agree when you say it's not the same, because to me, roasting is a man's thing. It's a masculine thing. It is not a feminine thing. And people don't know how to properly react when a woman does it, because objectively speaking, it is not an attractive thing for a woman to be roasting. So that's why it puts people off. That's just my personal opinion. I can handle it, but I feel that's how the audience views it. It's a put off when a woman does something that is not attractive. And that's why I feel people were more respectful and more into Red Infamy more. She didn't do things like that. She didn't put out things into the ether that would come off as stereotypically unattractive for a woman. Again, it didn't bother me when Mocha does it. It didn't bother me if anybody else does it, but that's my opinion on how our audience viewed it.
When Mocha gets triggered, it's not funny. She just comes off as like hella defensive, hella sensitive, like, and also she be making hella dad jokes which don't hit and don't land. Like,
women just aren't funny. That's my personal opinion. You can agree or disagree. I just don't think women are funny.
She be like, I don't know, someone in the comments be like, shut up, Mocha, and she be like, your dad wasn't telling me to shut up when I was riding his face and sucking his dick. It's like, wait, what, huh? That's not even... Hey, man, Pop still got it like that. I might need to dap homie up when I see him. Like, oh, like, the dad jokes don't hit like the mom jokes. Like, people didn't have these issues with, so I don't know why BG thinks it's, like, a women thing. And also, I just don't feel like she adds much when it comes to, like, the gaming topics. You don't be in them trenches beating games like that, you know? I don't know. I just don't feel like she's a good...
With you, Jack. We should just take a vacation.
One of the biggest downfalls of Weapon Wheel. I don't know if you guys remember, Weapon Wheel used to have webcams. Hardy was the only one that didn't have, like, a webcam. Jimmy was on... No.
I'm going to blame the webcam on BG's internet. Bruh, we can't even get gameplay playing in the background. Webcams for BG's rat-infested internet, it wouldn't work. So it's not about laziness, that's just a technical issue that maybe we can address, fix, or change when BG gets better internet when he completes his move.
Maybe not Jimmy, but BG, Jack, and Kids Move were all on webcams. Somewhere along the way, they stopped doing that.
Because BG's internet is trash.
Also, when it comes to like uploading the podcast to Spotify, SoundCloud, I don't use those. But I've been told it takes weeks for a new episode. Like,
Oh, we're gonna fact check that right now, Tony. I don't believe you. Oh, look. The newest episode. On Apple Podcast. Oh, look, the newest episode. On SoundCloud or Spotify. Yeah, Tony, man. You gotta be doing your own research. That's exactly why I said you can't be listening to these Discord trolls.
nigga, the latest episode is like episode 150. They're on like episode 300. So,
What is Tony talking about? Tony. Tony. Nah, you can't be... You can't be lying on us like that, Tony. No, no, no. I can't allow that.
like, it's down bad when it comes to laziness. BG, they be taking random holidays off or...
Holidays? Bruh, everybody is married in the podcast outside of me. Come on, man. People have families. A holiday is a legitimate reason to take off from a podcast. At the end of the day, what is more important? Your family or a video game podcast, Tony?
Or just in general, like, Jack got lazy for a point. BG's always been lazy. Like I said, Kiss Move, he doesn't show up on time. Bond doesn't show up on time.
I show up on time. Stop it.
Bond used to be a good fit. Honestly, I think Bond might be ruining the show at this point. Like, maybe it'll be better now Mocha's gone, but he was just being weird around Mocha.
I'm being weird. Y'all just don't know how to interact around women. You get uncomfortable around women. Just admit it, Tony. Y'all get uncomfortable about me living my life, interacting with women in the real, and interacting with women on a podcast. I don't know why it's so awkward for you people. Did you not have co-ed gym going up? Have you not interacted with women in the real? Like, it really concerns me how irregular you people act around the opposite sex.
Telling these weak ass stories, like, oh,
Weak ass stories, like I said. Where are your stories, Tony? If my stories are weak, I need to hear about you being on a yacht.
no, it's a little iffy. Like, I don't know. So, laziness, man. The podcast doesn't get uploaded.
That was proven false.
Don't use webcams. They
That's BG's internet.
don't, like, there's a whole bunch of things. Like, it's low effort sometimes.
How is this low effort? I have streamed the entirety of The Last of Us 2 and New Game Plus. I streamed the entirety of Ghost of Tsushima, giving you 7, 6, 4, 5 hour streams. I streamed the entirety of Spider-Man, the entirety of Miles Morales. Kid Smooth is uploading multiple times a week, giving you not only Weapon Wheel Podcast, but 2-hour Planet Xboxes. Jack Move is giving you Jiggy Battle League, Search for Jiggy Foods, streaming for 2 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours. Broken Games HD, in the middle of a move, is still uploading a podcast, giving generally more consistent videos than me, state of play, interesting topics, live streaming, stream the entirety of... Like, what are you talking about laziness? The podcast is more than just the podcast. It's all about individual channels too, which was my complaint about Blandrew. You're always giving Blandrew this praise, but Blandrew has only uploaded 4 videos in the past 2 years. Y'all need to stop. Like, look at this. Blandrew. One video 6 months ago, one video 11 months ago, one video a year ago, another video 2 years ago, but you're telling me he's putting in the work. Tony, I'm not trying to hear it, dog. Stop. Same with you, Attic. Talking about Blandrew should be on the payroll. I agree if he wants to put in the work.
Because niggas don't show up. Like, it was one of the first podcasts in the community, or even in general. Like, podcasts weren't as popping as they were now. Like, Weapon was gonna have some friendly competition, right?
Competition is good. That's why our Patreon is beating everybody else's, though.
Right? They were gonna get inspired. Competition popped up. It took views away from Weapon Will. Press Start came along, and they
Which is not getting a fraction of our views, by the way.
just made, like, I don't know. Press whole finesse, a whole scam. Off the Record makes Weapon Will's Patreon with After Dark look like a whole finesse, a whole scam. You getting charged $6 a month for niggas to just
And people are still paying more to see us than them, so what's the scam really?
kick it in the Discord, basically. For as long as they want, like, it's not guaranteed to be Kid Smooth or Bond. Like, you might have Jack, BG, and like 5 Discord niggas in there.
Bro, that's because people have lives and work Monday morning. Come on now. Be real. Y'all get 2-3 hours of a podcast, and then you'll get 2-3 hours of an After Dark pretty much weekly. And y'all still complaining.
Versus Off the Record, which is only twice a week still. I mean, twice a month. But that shit's still better. It's like $1 instead. Like,
It's because you cheap and you got no money, Tony. Let's be real.
that Weapon Will Patreon and finesse. So all that happened was competition came, either made them look bad or just took the viewership with them. So
No, the viewership is still there, and we're still popping. So I don't know why you're suddenly making us look bad, because we still outpacing all of them.
Weapon Will. But right now it's BG and Jack Move carrying that shit. And Blandrew a little bit when he...
How is Blandrew carrying anything? He makes no content. We have to bring in these guests that are Nintendo fans because he is not even into the trenches of Nintendo. He's not on Spawn Wave. He doesn't interact with RGT. He doesn't talk to Player Essence. Look how entrenched Kid Smooth is with the Xbox community and the podcast. Blandrew does none of that. Doesn't make any content, doesn't make any videos, doesn't play any of the mainline Nintendo games. He's talking about Sonic Adventure 2, wanting to rebuy and replay that, and still hasn't played Return of Samus on the 3DS. Like, shut up. Blandrew ain't pulling no weight. Blandrew pulling less weight than Jimmy, and that shit legitimately annoyed me when he said Jimmy was here for a free ride. Why can't he get a free ride? Blandrew wants a free ride. Hell, he wants free video cards. Be quiet on that, Tony.
He's on there. Like, the rest of the members, Jimmy, Mocha, Hardy, they aren't there anymore. And the thing with Blandrew, I remember when Blandrew left too. Blandrew was like, yeah, I got a girlfriend, I'm out of here.
Exactly. I can juggle 5 hoes and still be on here every week. He get a girlfriend, he gone.
And nigga came back like a week later. I'm dead. I ain't gonna cook Blandrew. I ain't gonna say what happened.
Oh, you ain't gonna cook him. I'll cook him. But then you're gonna say, oh, but Bond doesn't check anybody and cook anybody.
I ain't gonna cook Blandrew. But yeah, man, it's just not the same. It's the quality drops a little bit. It's like watching Power, man. Like, the first seasons are good, but at this point, you just watching it because you've been watching it. Like, you gotta stick with.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, Tony. It's summertime. Gaming is slow. News is slow. The pandemic is over. People want to travel. People want to do things. People want to live life. People want to make up for lost time over the past 2 years. I know it sucks. I know it's annoying. But people cannot revolve their lives around a podcast or the After Dark. Everybody in the podcast has a family outside of me. People even have kids. So I don't understand these complaints. Like, I get it. You're stuck inside all the time. Y'all got nothing to do and no lives. But people want to do things and do things in the real world. But even then, you and others be complaining that people want to live their life. Like, I can look at some of these comments in the comment section. It's crazy. Weapon Wheel is just Jack and BG. Mocha was trash, Smooth doesn't do much, and Bond always detracts from the conversation. I'm the one that adds to the conversation. Y'all just don't like analogies with things you don't have and can't achieve in real life. Laziness and the bare minimum? Yeah, dudes be giving you streams of complete games. 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, and y'all complaining. Every After Dark I wonder why I'm paying $6 a month. You know why you're paying for the After Dark. Mocha complaints. People talk about being lazy again when we're putting up more things. Oh, I was talking about the Weapon Wheel, not your channel, sir. Well, guess what? Our channels are part of Weapon Wheel. Y'all can't have it both ways. We put in work on our channel, and that funnels into work onto the main channel. This is why I said you can't be talking about Blandrew putting in work when he makes no content. Bond is having a true midlife crisis. Well, I guess if living life, enjoying it, having fun, making money, spending money is a midlife crisis, y'all need to have one. I think Blandrew is doing a great job putting BG and Bond in check. I don't know how. Blandrew be playing no games. Blandrew be playing no up-to-date games. Blandrew makes no content. Blandrew doesn't stream. Blandrew has zero networking skills within the Nintendo community, something Smooth has plenty of. I'll be honest with you. Blandrew ain't bringing nothing to the table. Period. I said it. He's not bringing enough to the table. And honestly, I'll say this too. If Yokio was more around to be a regular, he'd probably be here over Blandrew. Blandrew, I like you, dog, but I need effort, and you're being lazy. We gotta bring in different people just for different segments to talk about Nintendo stuff because you can't hold it down for the Nintendo faction. Period. Shadow Elite. I feel in some episodes it's mostly guests talking nowadays, and I disagree, especially in After Dark. I do agree. It's annoying when I'm just hearing the guest talk for almost the entire time on After Dark. I can agree on this, but this will change, once summer cools down and it's over. I'm there more often. But again, people got stuff to do in the summer, so you gotta kind of give and take. The episode Jaffe was awkward. I wasn't there, but I kind of agree. A lot of these seem like needless complaints, false accusations, personal opinions, which is cool. But again, I'm here for the criticism and the commentary. But again, y'all got to stay consistent, which you aren't. You're definitely not consistent. Like, we roasted Drew's games and all those other people, spiritual journey and everything, and you guys were laughing, ha-ha, and hee-heeing. But y'all expect that every week when those kind of situations don't happen every week. And again, people have lives to live, especially with the pandemic over. But then when we live lives, y'all want to complain about it. So I'm not going to tell you to sit down and enjoy the show. I'm just going to ask you to be understanding of where we are and the circumstances in the world. And I'm also going to ask you and people like Tony to, one, stop lying on things. Or two, you might not be lying, but stop relying on Discord trolls for your information. And two, your comments on Blandrew, nope, don't agree with them, period. But hey, if anybody else wants to make some criticism on Weapon Wheel, do it. I like constructive criticism. I agree we need to have better guests. We need to be a little bit more structured. I need to be on After Dark more. I need to be on the podcast more. But again, it's summertime, people. I've been in Miami. I've been at the beach. I've been in the islands. Like, when it comes to the podcast or living life, what would you choose? You're going to choose life. I'm Black Bond. I'll catch you guys later. If anybody else wants to make an upload about this, criticizing anything, please do. I will respond in kind, and I will go through everything, and I will address things. Because that's what I do. I'm here for the people. I'm Black Bond. I'm out.